All right, so I got a reaction coming at y'all real quick, man. This brother page been popping up on my recommenders a lot lately, man. I've been peeping, you know what I'm saying, a couple of the short clips. And they be having some pretty good conversations on here, man. But this conversation right here, pieces of this, well, you can pull it out of the scriptures. Like a lot of people, they look at how black women move today in terms of how they move with black men, and they don't know that this is prophetic in the scriptures. This ain't nothing new. First and foremost, this been happening to us ever since we was in the northeast coast of Africa. When we was in our homeland, they was doing the same thing. So let's get into the conversation.
As far as apologizing, I feel like not being able to apologize is a major red flag because, from my experience, when someone can't apologize to you, that means that they think they're better than you. And apologizing is a humbling experience. And who wants to be humbled by somebody that they think they're better than? This could be in a relationship, which I find to be true. Women, a lot of times, they get in a relationship and they say, I'm never going to apologize to the man because they've been trained to think.
I just want to touch on that right quick because usually when people think like that, now that is a superiority type of mindset where in the scriptures they talk about not correcting a king because they got the power to do some messed up stuff to you. But why can you not correct the king? Because he's not going to listen to you do that. He's not going to allow you to, you know what I'm saying? He's not going to apologize. He's just going to destroy you and get you out the way. It happens all the time. I don't know if a lot of people know that. It happens all the time. It's hard to correct somebody who's quote unquote above you. So if the women moving with that type of superiority complex, you correcting them is finna go left. It is what it is.
They're always right, and men are always wrong in relationships, so things should be catered to them. So when they do have to apologize, it eats at them. They don't want to do it because it's too humbling. And if they think they're better than the man, why would they apologize to him? And a lot of times, when a woman does have to apologize, it's coming with revenge. She's going to want to get it back. She wants to apologize, but you know what? She's going to bring up something. She's going to find something to her where you got to apologize 5 times harder. She's going to find something. I guarantee it. She coming.
You saying that she's going to evade accountability at all costs?
She going to apologize. She may apologize if you just got her dead and ain't nothing she could do. She going to apologize, but it's humbling and it hurt her. So you better believe she coming for you. When she apologize, she going to find something you did. It could be the most pettiest, stupidest stuff. You left your shirt on the ground, and I'm tired of cleaning up after you. And like, I just got home, and she going to be.
And let's keep it a stack. This is a new day. It's a new day. Y'all, if y'all men dealing with that, bro, that's a no go. That's a no go. We ain't doing that. And y'all brothers like this. This is why you got to always make sure you in the right. You got to always make sure you doing what you supposed to do. Correct yourself when you supposed to. Self-examination. Always make sure you in line with what you're supposed to be doing. Because all that shit got to cease. All that extra fussing and saying little slick stuff and fussing because you... No. That's why you got to make sure you stay on a level of consistency and doing what you're supposed to do. Always stay in line with what you're supposed to be doing because it's hard to correct somebody when you're doing wrong too. Correct yourself when you need to. Period. Always self-examine.
You about the dumbest stuff because she wanted back. She don't like being humbled by somebody that she thinks she's better than. And I think women need to maybe take that in consideration why they're not apologizing, why they have a hard time apologizing. Is it because you think you're better than your man or you're better than your kids? I'll apologize to anybody. The woman I'm with now is the first woman I ever had that apologizes to me when she does something wrong. And when she does, it's confusing. So I'm like, what? Like,
I just don't. You're
sure?
just not, you're just not grown, bro.
Hold on,
Simon. I didn't hear you.
Let me swing it over to Bree. Bree, go ahead. Jump in. After you weigh in, Bree, I need you to do me a favor. Do you think that black women think that they are better than black men?
Okay. Well, as a person who just generally doesn't like apologizing, I have no shame in saying that. One is because I feel like I'm sorry's are empty. I feel like a lot of people just say, I'm sorry, and then they just like keep doing it, kind of like the forgiveness at the altar on Sunday. So I have a kind of a negative take on like somebody saying, say, I'm sorry. So I kind of say, forgive me in my language just to like explain it. And I used to be a nurse as well.
Now, let me just speak on this right quick because what she's saying is true. A lot of people just apologize or say they sorry just to move the conversation along. They try to get shit back moving to try to get away from the situation. But let's keep it a stack, man. We too old for this shit. Your actions need to be changing before you say that shit to me. Straight up and down. Your actions need to be changing before you say it to me. Now I understand a lot of times when like she finna go into the nursing thing, a lot of times when bad stuff happening to people, you don't really know what to say. You know what I'm saying? You be in situations, it's like, it's awkward. You just need to say something. Most people don't really have the words, so they just say, I'm sorry for your loss. But when you talking about interpersonal relationships, when you talking about a spouse, that just empty sorry shit without change behavior, that's, no, hell no. Stop dealing with that. Stop dealing with, because a lot of people are very manipulative with that type of stuff. They apologize all the time, but they won't change their behavior. That's not how it works. Even like she finna go into like the altar calls and stuff like that. That's why nobody believe in the Christian church no more. Let's keep it a stack. Christianity is bullshit. It's garbage. It's garbage. Even like, for instance, right? Everybody thought Christ was just this oh so soft dude. When you examine the scriptures in the New Testament, Christ wasn't just hanging around people. He taught people and got out the way. He was dealing with his disciples, his apostles, and he only really hung with 3 of them. The rest was just, you know what I'm saying, was just there. But he had 3 favorites. He had 3 that was always around. Why would you do that? Because when you see sin on other people, you can't allow a bunch of people to be around you all the time. Because if they in the type of time where they gonna sin against you, that can cause you to sin. Like he said, you could supposed to forgive your brother 70 times 7. Why would you allow somebody to sin against you that many times? It's obvious. Once it get past 10, come on, bro. Why you like you ain't figured this out? You ain't learned no better yet. But if you gonna continue to allow them to sin against you and they repent, they ask for forgiveness, you got to do that. But who told you that you had to keep on allowing them to do that to you? You got to set your boundaries too. Set your boundaries and hold them firm. Because you can love somebody from a distance. You ain't got to be doing shit to me. But you know, it is what it is. So I agree with what the sister's saying. A lot of apologies and I'm sorry be some bullshit.
And in like compassionate care, like if somebody's going through something, I'm sorry is very like empty. You try to empathize with them and understand and serve what they need. And so for my husband, like the hardest part, the thing that makes it hard for me to apologize sometimes is a lot of times we're not having like egregious things because we're married. We've known each other for like a lot, like 18 years almost now. And so like it's usually a perspective thing. Like if something I did just made him feel a way, it's like intent versus impact. Even though my intent wasn't to do something, it impacted him in a way. And so he's calling me out on it. And because I don't like that feels bad to me. Like, oh, I wasn't meaning it that. I wasn't meaning it that way. And so a lot of time I just have to humble myself to accept his perspective that hurt me or I didn't like that. And so that's something I've learned over the years. But that doesn't mean it's easy because it almost feels like you're saying, I tried to do this wrong thing, but I always know that's not where I was coming from. So that's kind of where my struggle with it is now. Like, that's why it's still hard.
All right. And the second part of that question, do black women think that they're better than black men?
I'm going to say yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah. I don't know. I think currently, like a lot of black women are like focused on their careers and they're climbing, they're having financial upward mobility. And the whole like being independent and I can do it myself thing, I think has inflated the ego, especially when you look at your counterparts and you're like, well, they're not doing it and they're not this and that. So I think if you just look at it as a whole, like I think a lot of black women feel like we've climbed to a certain point and like we don't need them. And to me, that equates to being like, I'm better than you or you don't offer anything.
Paris,
I want to touch on this, you know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of people don't believe in the Bible, but we, being the people that wrote the book, we dive deep into this book, man. I'm gonna give y'all this out the Bible. I'm gonna give y'all this out the Bible. Because I know a lot of people, I know y'all probably never heard this in church. This is Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16. Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. Now, I want to key in on a particular word. He said, moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty. Let's get the definition of haughty. Let's get the definition of haughty. The definition of haughty: blatantly and disdainfully proud, having or showing an attitude of superiority and contempt for people or things perceived to be inferior. So this is nothing new, and it's prophetic. This was happening in Jerusalem, and it's happening on this side of the world. Let me read it again. Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes. Now, you hear stretched forth necks. That's not a problem when you just doing it because you have confidence about yourself. You carry yourself like royalty. But the problem comes in when you treating your people like that. You walking with a stuck up nose at your own men, your own husband, your fathers. That's an issue. He said, walking and mincing as they go and making a tinkling with the feet. We all just seen them sisters with the stank walk. You know what I'm saying? Trying to draw attention with her booty when she walking. We all seen it. We don't be mad at it, but we know what you're doing when you do that. He said, therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. Now, why would he bring up the crown of their head? Now, a lot of the sisters that you see that move like that, they usually struggle really bad to grow their hair. When you read on down this chapter, it goes into that. The women that move with that type of spirit, they struggle growing their hair. Their body frame is kind of out of proportion. And they might suffer from bad odor underneath their skirt. It is what it is. But this ain't nothing new. For a long time, especially with the white man putting these experiments and our people choosing continuously to go head first into these experiments that this white man has set up, they didn't got to a point where they feel like they better than us. But this is the problem that I don't think a lot of women understand. The white man's scared of us. When you look at the policies that they put in place for black women, it proves that you're not a threat to them. That's the proof. But it is what it is, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man, because I know it's a lot of people that probably don't think like that and probably don't believe that black women carry themselves like that. But it's biblical, and we can see that shit in real life. It is what it is. Now, the sisters that don't move like that, it's a breath of fresh air, and they stick out hard. They stick out. It's crazy. But it's a beautiful thing, and we need more sisters like that, and we need the sisters that do move like that to call out the bad behavior of their sisters. But it is what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. I'm out.